we're about to go see Ant-Man. I'm really curious to see where this movie falls in the cinematic universe exactly, like how, because it's got to plug into everything we know.
I definitely know that they've rewritten a little bit of the story to fit the cinematic universe. Because if I'm not mistaken, Scott, who is the new Ant-Man, doesn't he become the Yellow Jacket in the animated series? Or even in the comics, maybe?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think he was one and the same. Like, he kind of got either, like, fed up or tired and then went, like, that's the dark side of him.
Right.
And in this one, you can clearly tell that it's an opposing person.
Right. Yeah, I don't know about the comics and stuff, and I'm not recalling the animated stuff. I don't think I must not have seen that far. But yeah, I'm. The first thing I thought of, well, we watched the trailer. He says about the suit has power. Well, another thing I thought of was like, seems like there's a lot of people having suits in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So like, I wonder how that's going to relate to Stark. You know, because Stark does suits too now. So.
Well, I do know. You know that Hank Pym, who, like, Michael Douglas's character.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
In the comics and in the animated stuff, like, was part creator of Ultron. So they've changed that.
Right.
To where, like, Tony Stark solely created Ultron. Because Ultron was supposed to be created to work, basically. Ant-Man had, like, a prison that he created for all the bad guys that he could shrink down.
Right, so it was a purpose.
Right, and then Ultron was supposed to be, like, the security of that. Unless they rewrote the original story from the comics and the animated series to be different. I don't know, like, I've never really read comics about Ant-Man.
You know, this seems like the trailer, by just rewatching the trailer, because we've watched it 3 or 4 times now, it seems like it might be almost like a Mission Impossible type thing. You know, like there's a group of people that make this stuff. Well, he's part of it, in the suit.
In the preview, it shows he's like, I need you to break into a place and steal some stuff.
Yeah.
So I think what it is like, Hank Pym created this technology, and his partner wanted to use it for, like, to weaponize it. So it's somewhere. Like, Hank doesn't have it, but he knows that he needs to get somebody to utilize it. I just don't know specifically what that purpose is.
So you're thinking he breaks in and gets it?
Well, that's why he gets that guy. That's why he gets Scott. Because he knows that he's a professional thief, but he also knows that he's not a bad guy. Like, he knows why he's a thief. And so
I never thought about that.
Yeah, so that's why he got it, because he knew he could get it and steal it. And then once you have it, you can obviously put it on and sneak out. I'm interested to see how they do, because you notice when he was looking at the ants with the penny?
Yeah, it makes it spin.
Yeah, he wasn't in the suit. He was telling the ants what to do, just Paul Rudd just sitting there.
So maybe he has like a belt or some part.
I don't know. I want to see how they do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm excited. It's got a little bit of humor to it. It looks.
It's definitely one of the funnier ones, just from the trailers anyway. Of course, the trailers can always cut different.
Oh, they do. They do. Another thing is Ant-Man is also Giant Man. I wonder if they'll touch on that.
That would be awesome. I think that would be cool. Although I can't see Paul as like this giant dude, but I guess
I wonder if that will come into play later, for like later Avenger movies or something.
That would be cool if they played with that, like because I mean, we know they're heading to some some type of big war, you know, like probably Thanos and all that. This is like a world war. And I think they're going to mesh Hulk and World War Hulk and all of that all like into the same war, you know? Like
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of those stories have some of the same elements that they could weave together, you know, and just get rid of the frayed edges, you know? So yeah, I would love to see if they mention anything about maybe even just a throwaway line like, oh, we're experimenting with going the other way.
Right.
You know.
You know
So-
if Wasp is in this movie?
I think she is, or at least they refer to her, or there's something because that chick has the hair, the one that,
The
that
one that-
punches him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be a.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Well, I mean they've changed
Because
everything.
well, that's true. They probably rewrote character also.
Yeah.
Because that's Hank Pym's daughter.
Right.
I don't think she was the Wasp.
Well, maybe that's what they're.
Hey, we're about to find out. The movie starts in literally like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's get in there and check it out. We'll get back over here.
We'll let you know. And we're back.
Man, I like that movie.
Man, that movie was swell. See y'all next time. Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
Always. I think the number one thing that I'm coming back from that thinking of is like, man, what a flip in taste that needed to be injected into the Marvel Universe right now.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Like just the feel, the flavor of what, because we've had like over the top heroics.
Uh-huh.
Like, and even Guardians, that's why Guardians I think was good because of how they handled it.
It was different, yeah.
But it was still way over the top heroics. It's just a thief. Just handed some crazy power. Like, It's actually stupid simple.
That movie was fun.
Yeah,
It was-
totally.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed at all with any change of original story for this movie.
Well, thankfully, I didn't know a whole lot.
I didn't
of the
really
story.
either.
Yeah.
And as far as creative goes, they can do whatever they want to, And this was a turn that it helped explain the story, even though it had nothing to do with the characters that we've already seen. You know what I mean? Like, this was an introduction of a new character. And it's not like, okay, here's a problem that is been going on in all the other movies, and this is another way that they're going to use to solve that one problem. This had its own issues.
Yeah.
And that was good.
Yeah, it wasn't inherently connected to anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way that they tied it all into all that was very comfortable and very it flowed into it really good.
You could tell everything was kind of going on parallel at some points.
Yeah, I'm really happy about how they tied it in with the Avengers and Hydra.
Oh yeah, they touched on all of it.
Yeah, all of it. But it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't.
The first 5 minutes was mind blowing. Like as soon as again, spoilers. The opening scene is the freaking shield facility being built back in the day,
right,
with Tony Stark's dad, Howard, like as an old guy, and freaking Agent Carter
was there too. Yeah,
is there. Yeah, and it just. I instantly knew. I was like, well, yes, this is coming from the correct place. But it's so great that's the facility that all the shit goes down in Captain America 2.
Right.
Where everything crashes. So that was, wow. I was majorly impressed.
Before we went in and watched the movie, I was curious about Giant Man and if they were going to do anything with that. And they did. They had that technology also, and that it's neat to me that was the saving grace.
Well, I like the idea that if you sort of think about it logically, if you can make something small, you have to make the small thing large again. So why wouldn't you be able to take a normal size thing and make it large?
Right.
I mean, it makes sense both directions. I guess now this is not real physics, but the physics of this movie, it doesn't matter. Size is irrelevant. Like it changes. So I'm kind of surprised. I'm still kind of surprised they didn't touch on either one of them getting larger, though.
It might come. Considering his background before he was a thief, he probably has the knowledge to add to the suit.
They did try to make sure
that we knew that.
Yeah.
And they showed him tinkering with everything. You notice at one point he said, Hank said that being in the suit for so long messed with him.
Yeah.
And then whenever the guy went crazy as the Yellow Jacket, she was like, it's messing with your mind.
Yeah,
do you think anything like that's going to happen with Paul Rudd?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, he did say that the suit, his version, the Ant-Man suit, has a better helmet. You know,
right?
But you know, that kind of felt like the original RoboCop to me, because they, you know, if you remember, this is so tangent and Nerdville, but the original RoboCop, right? They kept trying to make RoboCop 2, which was a play on words because it was in RoboCop 2. But they was wanting to literally make RoboCop version 2.
Right.
And they were getting all these headstrong, cocky cops, and they would go crazy and like pull their own head off and stuff. They just lost it. So I think maybe it's sort of like that. They figured out in RoboCop, they were like, well, Alex Murphy, they're like, you know, he's a family man, you know, he's a father.
His mindset was different.
His mindset was in a completely different place. He wasn't a hothead, cocky guy. And it's almost exactly the same with Ant-Man.
That's true, because Hank wasn't like, even though he was a soldier, he wasn't like a soldier. He
even said at the beginning, I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
It was sort of like having the power and you don't want it, so that means you're worthy of wielding it because you don't want it, you don't need it.
But you consider how to utilize it rather than relying on it.
Right.
That makes sense.
Which I think they're going to do the same thing with Doctor Strange, because even in the cartoon Doctor Strange, which maybe someday we can do a review on that too, because it's been out for some years, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, if you remember then, he was like, I don't want this power. And they're like, that's exactly why you should have it.
Right. They wanted him more than he wanted to be.
Right.
Right.
Right. And that ties in with Spider-Man and Great Responsibility. You know?
Yeah.
So it's very Marvel.
There was a lot of comedy in the movie. I liked it. The cast was perfect for the funny stuff. What'd you think when they were going on the mission? And he's like, this is not a storage facility, and it was the new Avenger base.
The new, that's at the end of Avengers 2.
And then that's awesome that they brought the Falcon in. Yeah. And I like the fact that nobody knew that before they saw the movie.
Yeah.
You know, they kept that out of they knew they didn't need that in the trailer. Yeah. To get people to go see it.
Yeah, because if they did show anything, I don't remember seeing it.
Right.
For him in there. So that was a pleasant surprise.
It was a pleasant surprise.
And it also shows, it's just something I like about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, you know, you got your peon agents, and then you got your bigger agents as they go up, and the level of badassery goes up, and like Agent Phil is like legendary now. Right. You know? So Coulson is like a badass, but then you see him with the Avengers and he's like all like, hey, I love you guys. So that's like makes them badass. So like that's kind of the way it was. Like Falcon like looks at Cap and is like, hey man, I'm just like you, just a lot slower. You know? So he's kind of like, I'm not as good as you. I strive to be. But then in this, he's like, dude, I'm an Avenger. You're just some weird dude that shrinks, you know?
Right.
So
he owned it.
he
owned it differently. And I want to say upgrade. The change in his suit. Yeah, it was pretty good. Believe it or not, he looks like a lot of the action figures that they put out.
Oh, I'm sure it was intentional. I'm sure it's all
sure, together, of course. Yeah. But it's just another tie-in, you know?
And I'm sure that's going to be how he looks in the upcoming installments.
Probably.
It was very, it was definitely a nod to Captain America's suit. Like, especially the one that has the lines across the top, you know? with the star, the very simple one.
Well,
It wasn't his. Isn't that the one he wore in Captain America 2, where he was not undercover, but he was
the stealth, the
Stealth.
dark blue with the silver or like white star on the chest. Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, in a way, because of the chest.
Well, I know in the comics, I don't know if the story will ever go that way, but the Falcon becomes Cap in some of the new comics.
I could see it happen because
Yeah.
he's. I don't want to say he like worships him or anything. He just has such an admiration and respect
Right.
for him as
and
a
that's
person.
almost what it is. Like, okay, you have the knowledge, ability, will, drive, determination. You understand this position. You may not be a super soldier, but
Yeah,
I've got those comics if you ever wanted to read them.
that'd be cool.
It's definitely a newer series, a newer run.
That's cool.
But anyways,
Dude, so
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so his three buddies. I don't know whose idea it was to have these three guys, but they are perfect.
I know.
Like, you could almost make a side movie with them three guys, just in that world, and it would be amazing. I mean, this is what I told you as we were in the theater. I was like, oh, that ain't half of it. The black dude, because it was like what the guy was Russian or German.
Something.
What was the guy? Ukrainian?
Something like that, yeah.
Ukrainian? Is that Ukrainian? Ukrainian?
Ukrainian?
I just,
That's a place. That's a thing.
well, I just don't know if I was saying it right.
I don't know where he was
I
from.
just lost
He's ethnic.
a country.
You just.
They all just.
I'm sure we have a lot of fans from that country.
No, actually, I probably lost them when I was making fun of Arnold. But
different country.
oh, I lost it again.
Oh God.
Oh no, but you know. What I mean.
He was ethnic of some sort. I don't know where he was
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And then T.I. was the black guy, and then
I was wanting to. Did you recognize him right off? That was T.I.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I was like, huh, that's T.I. I didn't know T.I. was in this.
I didn't know he was in it. But when I saw, nor did I think that he would have a huge role. But he had a.
He was in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, reoccurring.
I mean,
I thought he was going to be in that first scene, and then that'd be it, maybe. You know.
it was a stereotype. Black guy stealing a cop car.
Well, yeah, but I think it went even further than that because that dude's been in trouble before. Like, he's been in prison,
Yeah.
and he makes fun of himself because of it.
The casting of those three guys worked very well.
Yeah. No, it was just endless laughs, man. And the main Mexican dude, oh, dude, perfect comedic timing. Comedic timing.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to place where I've seen him before because I know I have.
I think he was in Shooter.
I don't think I've seen
Wahlberg?
that.
You never saw it?
Say with
He's one of
Wahlberg?
those. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, the movie Shooter.
With Marky Mark?
Marky Mark. That Mexican dude. I think his name's Michael something. He's one of those actors that he's probably been in 50 movies. You know, but he never gets like that main role.
He's always just a supporting guy.
Well, no, he's been the main actor before, but like when I say main role, I mean like he's never made $1 million for making a movie, you know?
Oh.
So.
Well, I hope he does pretty good, man, because that was pretty awesome.
I mean, if his contract's right,
I
they'll
hope he
all
comes
make real
back.
good money off this.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you do that ties you to the Marvel universe usually is probably a good move.
Dude, like freaking Paul.
Now,
Paul
I
was
was going to
great.
say this a while ago. I initially was not comfortable or feeling Paul Rudd as the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen the movie, I'm
Yeah.
very happy they used him because they used his strengths for this movie,
Yeah.
not any of his weaknesses as far as
Yeah.
acting goes.
Yeah.
He didn't have to go too far out of his element or his character,
No.
but he transitioned himself enough to where like you could see him working at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
You could see him being a cat burglar. And then you could see him making the jokes and being like, oh, I'm not cut out for this. You need to call the Avengers. And then you could also see how he transformed himself into the right character for Ant-Man. And like you just said a while ago, taking the guy who doesn't want the position, but understands why he needs to fill the position.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But in the precast we did, I think I said something about Wasp, and I love how they explain that story without anybody having to ask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just almost seamless, and how they use that to tie in later in the movie. Whoever they have at Marvel Studios writing this stuff is getting better and better and better, because the storytelling is getting so much more intriguing as the movies progress.
Yeah. Well, I know that there's probably somebody at the top checking everybody's stuff and letting them do their own thing, but like making sure there's a continuity. I mean, it's an editor. Instead of doing it on all the comic books, they're just doing it on all the movies, making sure it all fits.
Yeah.
Just like they do the comic books. That's kind of interesting. It's almost the same job.
I think it's really cool too how, like, they told the story of the Wasp, and now since we have Ant-Man back, you know, we're gonna get the Wasp back.
Oh yeah. So now there's going to be Ant-Man, Wasp.
Yeah.
Like
so
all the stuff
what this
involved.
is doing is giving us
Yellow Jacket.
bigger Avengers. I mean, we're gonna get to the point where it's like Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh, I definitely can see Paul in with, Robert Downey and Hemsworth and stuff. Like, that's a flavor. Like, he's a certain flavor off in left field that's not in any of that stuff. Like, I would love to see him among that. Of course, I don't know how much that same crew is going to be together now or not. Like, that may be...
Like, after credit.
Yeah.
We got to see...
After credits. Amazing after credits.
We got to see, Falcon again with Cap and Bucky. And he's like, I know a guy.
Yeah,
so
Falcon says, I know a guy.
Yeah, obviously they're talking about Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
So that right there is not only showing us that we have a future with the Winter Soldier that we probably want, not something that they're going to force on us.
Yeah.
But it's also a real easy tie-in to get Ant-Man in the Avengers. I mean, he's already been in the facility.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's already had his foot in the door. Quite literally. No, but dude, Bucky looked harsh, bro. Oh my God. I wonder how he felt, like, just being there for like 5 seconds to be in that.
Was his arm like in a vice of some sort? Was it captured? Or was he just like laid out, like kneeling down?
I thought he was just kneeling down, like because remember, like, he was really messed up. He wasn't stable because of all the freezing and coming back and all that, And they said they had to keep wiping his mind and everything. So he looked like he was going like through detox or something, like he was going through a reboot. But I don't know. Maybe he was, like, because I don't know what that thing was.
I don't know. It was weird. You couldn't tell. It was almost like under the facility.
Yeah.
Like in a not a storage room, but like a.
It was almost like a machine shop.
A machine room. Yeah.
And
and I couldn't tell because they keep those things so short. Was he like? Did they have his metal arm locked in something, or was he literally just like out of breath and worn out, beat up, and like just propped up on it? And Captain Falcon, maybe found him, or like brought him back there, or did they capture him and bring him there? Like,
well, it looked like he was all sweaty and had maybe just been in a fight. So I wonder if. Okay, this is totally.
Speculation.
Yeah, speculation. What if at some point during the happening of this movie, the reason why Falcon was hanging out there at the Avengers facility was because everything else was going on somewhere else, and he was hanging around there, and that's going to be part of the goings-ons in Captain America 3. Okay? So in Captain America 3, I bet you we see Bucky, Winter Soldier, like, show up, break into the facility, or come around, or something. Like, maybe they could even make a joke of it, like
With 2 break-ins in one day?
Yeah, Falcon's like, what the hell, man? This is happening all the time now. But it almost looks like Falcon might have fought him. And Winter Soldier's clearly probably in a worn out state. He needs help, probably. But they might have fought, and Falcon might have caught him, his metal arm, in a machine to keep him stuck. Because it didn't look like they were really treating him very good either, though. Like, they weren't like...
Well, initially they were both just standing there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they started talking, and it's not like they were sitting at a table.
No.
And it's not like he's like, oh my God, he needs help, come help him.
It's a real question mark of why that scene... I'll guarantee you that scene plays out in Captain America 3. We get to see what happened. Like, they just gave us a piece of
they
a puzzle.
gave us an actual part of the movie.
Oh, I'll guarantee you that wasn't even the people that made this movie. This was the people shooting Cap 3 went, here, this is for you guys to put at the end.
Okay.
To tie it in.
That'd work. Because if it's all going at the same time.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know they're shooting Captain America 3 and everything, doing all that. Or they was at least starting that by the end of this movie. And see, they could have made Ant-Man completely done, and within the last week, they could have gave him that shot to put at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have been no big deal at all.
We see they also could have done Ant-Man as a standalone character, and being like, okay, well, here's Ant-Man, and not tied him in, and like had his own storyline, and then it kind of be like a sister project. But they actually threw it all towards the Avengers, and I like that they're literally putting everything towards the Avengers.
They're getting kind of a nightmare puzzle to put together, though, because, I mean, think about back Iron Man. Okay, they got us to believe that a man could be in a suit, and it be like a super suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You like what he said about Iron Man?
Oh, dude.
I mean, that was a kick in his teeth.
Totally
He
dissed Iron Man.
Basically said Iron Man's suit was just nothing. The technology was
What did he
useless.
say specific?
I don't know the specific words, but when he said it, he was talking about like Stark's tech was so like minuscule.
Yeah.
To what he had the ability to do, and like people in the audience were like, "Ooh,
yeah,"
you know, people spoke up
because you just when he said that, you could just picture Robert Downey Jr.'s face, and he's always like chewing gum. Really, you think so? Well,
put on the suit.
Put on the suit. Chris Evans is like, "Oh, here we go again."
God.
Ruffalo's like, I'm out of here, guys. I can't do this. Yeah. Oh, what would it be like to see freaking Wasp in the Hulk's ear on live movie instead of just a cartoon? Because, I mean, we've seen that. You know, Hulk going crazy and he's like,
get out of my head.
Yeah. Either Ant-Man or him could do it. That'd be awesome.
I think
they're all there now.
I think I go into these movies always thinking that they're going to drop the ball.
Even Panther's coming up.
Dude, we got a bunch coming up.
Panther's
coming up. Luke Cage is coming up.
Yeah.
Iron Fist is coming up. I mean, they're really, really expanding the universe. I mean, the next 3 years, we're going to have some awesome stuff.
Strange.
Yeah. Ant-Man gave us a brief discussion and a brief glimpse at things on a molecular level.
Yeah.
Okay? Not space or, you know, like Guardians gave us different dimensions and Thor gives us different realms and stuff like that. This is on a completely like scientific level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will probably tie in somehow with Strange in different dimensions.
Yeah, that could be cool. I would like if they did stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe, I bet you Strange could be sort of like a weird glue that was like, I could see him, and they may totally not do this, but this is just our fan fiction. Strange could be like, you know, the realms, you know, I could see him talking about the realms of Thor and Asgard and Midgard and all this kind of stuff, and then You know, you have the molecular levels of Ant-Man and down to the smallest of atoms and below atoms and stuff, you know, God particles, if you will. And then he could be like, well, you know, you mesh that together even on another level, and here's dimensions. Like Strange really could end up being Strange. And I think they said that they want to do that. Strange is almost going to be like the new Tony Stark. The thing that is in each
thing. Each movie, yeah.
Yeah.
What if us unknowingly, like, don't expect something like this? Like you said, fan fiction. What if Strange can find and get Janet?
The original Wasp?
Yeah.
Probably. And what if... Oh, wouldn't it be just badass if we figured this out and nobody else has? It's on YouTube. It was us first.
Yeah, we told the story first.
We did it. And my nipples are hard. What? Yep. TMI. Beep. No. But what if him going super small?
Mm-hmm.
What if Strange, like, saw that?
Yeah, what if he's been watching...
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know what I mean?
What if
like,
they do the Strange story where, like, we don't get an origin story? What if we get Strange and his origin story is him explaining to us that he's been watching all of this?
Yeah, I mean, he could have already been around. I don't know where he has to be in the timeline. Like, Strange could have been before the Avengers and everything. He could be an existing person. I mean, they've mentioned his name maybe once or twice. I know that. They've said Stephen Strange. That's his name, right? Stephen Strange, yeah.
When in was it? Yeah, no, it was Captain. When they kicked the guy off of the roof.
Yeah, it was on the roof.
They name dropped him and a few others there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, several people. I think wasn't Pym one of them? I think he said Pym during that time. Stephen Strange, Hank Pym.
I'd have to go back.
I think Pym was.
But
one
I know
of
for a fact he said Strange because
No,
that
he
was
did.
the first.
Yeah.
That was the first like glimpse that we had of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
It was a cookie that a lot of people didn't hear about it for a while until like people were like, "Hey, did you realize this?" And then they went back and watched it. Mm-hmm. One of the perks of watching movies over and over and over.
Oh, they actually put so many things in them. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's why you have to get it. Like we could almost like go to a movie and see the movie and then go buy it on Blu-ray
and see more
and see it again and do like a follow-up almost. You know, I mean, it's so multi-layered, and that's really good because that's storytelling.
It's actually a good idea. We could definitely do it. We could always add to this. Some of the funny spots in Ant-Man consisted of Paul Rudd doing funny things, saying funny things, but some of the other stuff was literally just objects, and kind of touching again on things getting big. And they did this a few times in the movie where they showed us things, you know, and they said things that were going to play out later in the movie. Yeah. And one of the first things in the movie is he dropped his keychain.
Oh,
and
that
his
was
keychain
awesome. Yeah.
had that tank on it, like a little tank keychain. But then like they kept referencing that.
Yeah, they showed it too many times.
When he broke into the house the first time to get the suit, which he didn't know it was a suit.
He had it then in his hand. He said that he's seen the keys.
They just showed the keys on the dresser or like the armoire or the table, whatever it was.
Yeah, but he picked them up and used them.
He like moved them.
I think he used them to open one of the doors in there.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
But like in my mind, that was me being told, okay, he's home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like that whole time, I was like, okay, he's there. What is he doing? And he was actually downstairs in that secret room.
Yeah, he was right next to
him, watching him on the cameras. Yeah. But like, that's as far as I thought that they were going to go with the keys. And then at the end of it, when he went back to the building for the guy to show him that he had the technology to do the yellow jacket, and he put the keys down. Like I looked at you, and even in the theater, I was like, I think that's a real tank.
Yeah, I think they're gonna use that. It's a real tank. Now, get this. I knew. Like the second time. I think they showed it 3 times. The second time, I was like, that's a real tank. I didn't tell you, but I was like, That's a real tank. But the funniest part of it was not only was it a real tank, but it had a giant keychain on it. Like it was they must have built that for real and shrunk it so that it would work, you know?
They couldn't. No, I think what it was he had a tank, shrunk that thing down, and attached a keychain to it, and then
so it
took
was
it
like
everywhere.
Double weird going on.
So when they put the little drop of juice on it, and it made the tank, like he just dropped it on his keys.
Yeah.
Because when that tank drove out of that building, it was the full keychain, like flopping around. That was so good.
I think that was the biggest reaction from the crowd. Yeah, coming out.
I really enjoyed that crowd in the theater today because you don't.
It was a good crowd.
You don't see that a lot. You don't feel it a lot. But like even during the previews, like they started clapping for
Saw
movies.
Some good previews.
Yeah. We'll discuss those later.
Yeah, we're gonna do separate ones on those kind of.
But
previews.
like that shows me, as far as like cinematic universe goes and movies and fans go, that things are starting to get back on a good track, like across the board because fans are more accepting, they're more appreciative of the things that are coming out. They're looking forward to more like better movies. So crowd reaction is something that went away for a long time from movies. Yeah. And now it's definitely coming back.
That's true. We've seen it several times in the last few years. Yeah.
That was good though.
Never expected it to be that funny.
I didn't either. The fight scenes weren't bad, like with him getting big, going small.
Yeah, it was actually not a whole lot of fighting.
It wasn't.
It was mostly just a story-driven movie.
Yeah,
you know, from here to there to this to that.
The cool thing about the fight scenes that I was thinking about while I was watching the movie is when you have choreograph in a fight scene, you're usually working with another person or some sort of something. You're working with something, right? I wonder if they had like somebody as a body double, like with a green suit or blue suit or something, doing the fight scenes. Because how dumb would you feel or look if you're doing the fight scene getting hit, because you're getting hit by an ant, you know, Ant-Man. Like, I wonder how they did the choreograph on that movie.
If I had to guess, I'd probably say that they did it over and over and over with a real person.
And it just mimicked it?
Yeah, because they did that. Oh, what was that? What was that movie? Was it Clash of the Titans or whatever? That was Ray Harryhausen. You know, did the walking skeletons. You know, the claymation, or not claymation, but the the miniatures.
Right.
And they shot it. Well, there's a whole scene where there's like gladiators fighting skeletons, and I seen a documentary on that the other day, and they said in that they had trained swordsmen with these guys and taught them how to fight with swords, and they fought them like 8 different takes, like with the actual swordsmen, and they did the same thing each time, and then the last take they had those guys stand out and the other guys just reacted exactly the same. So they were used to doing it. They'd already done it like 8 times.
That makes
so
sense.
Then they could put the skeletons back in, or later, and it actually worked really well. I bet you they probably did something like that in this, because clearly people were reacting to nothing. They had to have been. I mean, I don't know. I personally, kind of having some working knowledge of how they do that kind of stuff, I don't see how they could have gotten rid of somebody in a big green suit. You know what I mean? Like standing there like fighting you or something. I mean, I guess you could, but I bet you it was all reaction. It was probably a lot of wires, stuff pulling people's tie, this way. There's probably a lot of low tech, pretty easy to do, with a lot of that stuff.
I liked it, man.
The in and out wasn't jarring either.
The what?
The in and out, the big and small, didn't feel
That's what
jarring.
I mean. Like the CGI wasn't retarded.
No, it was fine, and it didn't. I wondered whether it was going to handle like sound and the feeling correct.
I noticed that the flying ants sounded like helicopters.
At one point, he sort of falls backwards over a aluminum can tab to open like a Coke can, and it sounds like if you were to shove a big like aluminum tub across the floor or something. Because it would at his level.
Right.
The frequencies to him would be really low. Would be like that rat was like.
Right.
It
You were
would
expecting
be.
to see like a dog or something.
Yeah.
And it was just a rat.
Yeah, it would
That's
totally
true.
be that way. There was some
They
things.
paid attention to all the right details in it.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it with everything. Like, when someone was big talking down to him, and they could probably cop out. They could say, well, the suit's made to correct it.
It's regulated by the helmet.
Yeah, but because when you're that little and, like, a giant would speak to you, it'd just be like...
Yeah.
Like, hell, Andre the Giant and people like that almost sound that way, and they're only a few feet bigger. You know what I mean? It's
true.
It's serious. When you get bigger... The frequencies and everything change. It's just like if he was small and trying to speak to you,
it would sound like
it would just be maybe meep. That's it, So, but who cares? I mean,
that's all fixed with.
Yeah.
It's regulated with the suit, the helmet.
Pseudoscience works in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it never felt weird, and most people don't even know of that kind of stuff. Most people don't know about frequencies.
When they set the charges to blow the building, to get rid of the Yellow Jacket technology.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to implode.
No, me either.
That was awesome.
That means they were his technology type bombs. They weren't bombs, they were quantum bombs.
The bombs were placed on the Yellow Jacket serum. So when the bombs went off, the serum exploded everywhere and shrunk
I didn't
everything.
even think about that.
Remember, he took the ants in?
Yeah.
And they injected the bombs
Oh, totally. Yeah.
on the serum?
But I didn't think about it being that the serum did it. But you're right. You're totally right. So that was totally an uncontrolled quantum disintegration. Totally uncontrolled because it was no regulator.
I wonder if there's like a tiny little explosion like laying on the ground down there.
Or forever getting smaller, like he won't.
Well, yeah, I guess if nothing's regulating it, that serum will forever...
Just keeps getting smaller. Yeah. No, what I thought, and this is okay, real talk, I almost think that the real universe is this way. I really expected him to just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it looked like he could see, like, the universe. And then be like, it's a loop. The smaller you get, you start seeing the big things. And I've actually wondered that, in real life. I mean, I doubt we'll ever know.
I think visually it was pretty cool when he went subatomic.
It almost looked that way, though. It looked like
it was getting there, yeah.
Yeah, like all of a sudden you could see stars and like the universe.
When he went subatomic.
It's all fractals, man.
It was interesting how they made him kind of curl into the fetal position.
Yeah.
Did you realize that?
Yeah, it was kind of artsy with that kind of thing. It meant to invoke a feeling in you when you was watching it. Yeah, it totally worked. And it messed with him. It really messed with him to see that.
Now, remember when he came back?
Yeah.
And he was like, do you remember anything?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no, I don't remember anything. Do you think he was keeping the information from him? Or do you think he really didn't remember? Because he obviously knowingly knew what he was doing by taking the disc, putting it into the regulator, knowing that disc would make him bigger.
Fan fiction. How cool would it be? Cool? How cool would it be? How cool would it be if he doesn't remember and Wasp, the original one, what's her name?
Janet,
yeah. What if Janet was there and saw him and was able to get to him and she was like, I know how you can get back, and like tipped him off because she helped him create that technology. She was like, open your regulator, stick that in there.
That's definitely a stretch for fan fiction because she went down in the ocean.
But this is how I could see that, but how I'm thinking is when she went down the ocean, got a molecular that tiny, she was somehow figured out a way to get back to Hank like maybe she's always been there with him.
Oh, I see.
See what I'm saying?
It's like
Yeah.
during the process, she made sure she was around and with Ant-Man. I got
She
you.
stayed with Pym. Yeah. So now she's like in that realm because they really did play with that weird. It was kind of weird. That spot was what's supposed to have happened to her. There, it was kind of like, is she really dead?
Yeah.
You know. So, but maybe not that, but they definitely left it open to be like, oh, I don't remember. And then later on down the line, there's some big reveal, and he remembers. He's like, oh my God, and something happened. Like
So many years though. I mean,
what if he's like,
never mind.
what if he's like about ready to lose it, and like freaking Doctor Strange shows up and like puts his hand on his head, and he's like, you won't remember this, but I'm giving you your mental capacity back to think correctly. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, you know, and did it because it looked like he was losing his mind because he was so small, you know. But I don't think Doctor Strange would care. Its size is irrelevant on that level, you know what I mean? So what if Doctor Strange or somebody like that helped him?
that would work.
Wouldn't that be cool? Because they did leave it open, to me anyway. If I were writing it, that would be a good spot to write something in.
Yeah.
So,
As a fan, I would be more apt to accept Doctor Strange having something
like
to do as opposed to Janet. But how cool would it be if they could utilize, like I said earlier, Doctor Strange to get to Janet, if she's even still alive? I mean, who knows? Like when you shrink down that level.
well, I noticed something. He said that time was also irrelevant.
He did say that more than once. And when he made the decision to go subatomic, he was like remembering that in his head. Remember?
Yes. So,
She very well could be.
there could have been anything. Yeah, she could be suspended in time almost. There, you know. And at that point, is it a physical realm or is it just like an astral plane? Which gets back to Doctor Strange. It's pretty awesome,
Crazy,
man.
yeah. I don't know. We're just reaching at straws. Who knows? Anything could.
Dude. Yeah, but you know, roll back, you know, what is it, 5 years? Like, we'd be sitting here going, what if they bring Thanos into all this with the Infinity Gauntlet? I mean, it was clearly there. We saw it in Thor just for a brief second. No, they wouldn't do that. That's a big, huge storyline. They'd have to, man, Guardians of the Galaxy would be in that. Adam Warlock would be in that. Like, there's no, what? They are doing all that, you know? So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if anything happened. Because they will do anything. So, and it is a comic book company.
That's true.
I mean,
Surprisingly, the movie made me very happy. I'll
Yeah.
definitely see it again.
yeah,
It wasn't a letdown. Tied in a lot of good stuff with the
it was money
story.
well spent.
Yeah, money well spent.
Yeah.
A bunch of good tie-ins, comedy, action. I mean, Marvel Studios. It was definitely a Marvel Studios movie.
It is a theater movie as well,
Yes,
for sure.
I would go see it in the theater.
Yeah,
Again.
absolutely. Cool. Well, I wonder what we have next.
I don't know. Let's look at the list.
Oh wow, she's got a Captain America. So, she's cute in a weird way.
You're weird in a cute way.